favourite. 77 British Rally champion and out in front again this year. Chris Porter, a local man, is Brooks's co-driver. Porter usually teams up with Blair Robson. So Brooks leads off at the start of the 3-day, 2,000-kilometre event, and that's the longest event Brooks has ever competed in. He's well.
That's the last. There wouldn't be any point in going otherwise.
Millen's next away. He's won 6 of the last 12 national rallies, and his rotary-engined Mazda is the only threat to the Ford monopoly. Ranked third, John Wolfe in the first of the final top escorts. He and co-driver Grant Whitaker 5 Auckland crews among the top 6 seedings. The other half of the Massport team is Jim Donald. He's only been rallying for 4 years, but he's already made a big impact on the sport. Paul Adams in the second of the vinyl top escorts makes up the top 6. But not quite. Already one driver is missing. Mike Marshall in car 5 has failed to report at the start. When the Aucklander does arrive, he's ushered along the pavement to the start ramp to place him nearer his original starting position. Marshall's reason for lateness? Believe it or not, his RS 1800 ran out of petrol on the way from the Parc Fermé to the start.
Brother John. Here he goes, Mike Marshall, very strong. Future of hope in this international rally.
It's the special stages that decide who wins the Motoguard rally. And there are 34 of them, totaling 1,000 kilometres, all different conditions. In effect, it's like 34 different race circuits, with touring stages to get the cars from one special to another. The early stages in Auckland are mainly for the spectators' benefit, but no one takes them quietly, least of all Mike Marshall. Rod Millen's also started the run. Jim Donald, he came third in the 76 International. And Brooks is right there, just off the early pace. At times, Millen pushes it just a little too hard. And Tony Baker's in even more trouble. This is his Datsun 120Y after he rolled it in the opening stage. But after some hasty repair work, his service crew appeared optimistic, even euphemistic.
Yes, we're quite confident we'll get to Wellington. The car's going very well indeed, no problems at all. All we have to do is get some lights on it all the way.
While Marlene Baker puts it all down to the traditional first stage bogey.
Something's always gone wrong the first stage in every international we've been on.
Stage 3, Pinnacle Hill, a fast downhill stretch south of Auckland, and Rod Millen goes into an early lead. But by only 2 seconds. Brooks's teammate Jim Donald is right on Millen's tail. Marshall, he's not been put off by his delayed start. He's in third place and really moving. In fourth equal place with Brooks is Paul Adams, just 20 seconds from the leaders. At this stage, little separates the field, although some of the lower order cars are beginning to find the pace a little too demanding. 6 rollovers from top to bottom for Dermot Malley and co-driver Jim Kidd in their escort. The vehicle looks ready for the scrapyard, but the Aucklanders aren't going to give up yet. A little help from a handy fence post, some local advice.
Is there a way out of this field? Yeah, we've got the gate just up the top. Let's get started and we can get out of here first.
And a helping hand from the spectators gets Malley going again and at least heading in the right direction. Dermot Malley wasn't the only one having trouble with that bend. Cars, meanwhile, have headed south to the Motoguard Gorge, one of the most testing of stages. Russell Brooks is first away. Watch how he handles this tight and twisty course with speed and absolute control that at times borders on pure grace. Drive pushes Brooks up into third place. But rally leader Rod Millen is in trouble. He's having problems with his motor. The misfiring, now plainly audible, loses him time and causes him to replace his carburettor at the end of the stage. This is John Wolfe. You can tell his motor's not running smoothly either. Each car sets off 1 minute apart in a special stage, and that makes overtaking unusual. But look how much Jim Donald has closed on Wolfe halfway through the stage. Donald put up a fast time for the gorge, but not as fast as Paul Adams. back, Trevor Crowe throwing his Avenger around. He's lost synchromesh in second gear. Marshall still back with the slower cars. Nevertheless, he's putting in good time. And incredibly, Dermot Malley's battered Escort is still there and running. The Maramarillo State Forest, 19 kilometres vast roads, and now there are two new leaders. Jim Donald, Massport sent him to Fords in England this year to study their works cars. And Paul Adams, 20 seconds behind in his distinctive black Escort. The chase is really on. Near Hamilton, and John Wolfe turns it on in stage 7. The crowds have turned out for this rallycross stage. It's a rare opportunity to see the cars from start to finish. Russell Brooks is fast through the bends. Through the water. Jim Donald clocks the time as his Massport teammate. Second quicker and fastest through the stage is Rod Millen. Marshall looks even faster. He hammers his way through the outward leg, but then fails to appear at the finish. Marshall, lying second at this point, has come a cropper in no uncertain terms.
And we're coming across here and had this row of little white things to show where the road went, but I thought I was going pretty quick and I thought I could take a shortcut across the grass, but when we got here, found there's a big ditch across. We couldn't see it.
Either of you hurt?
Yeah, I think John's, he's hurt his chest, I think, from the safety belt.
Is it the end of the rally for you?
Oh, for sure, yeah. We'll never get out of there.
It's up to you.
Marshall's co-driver, John Couch, had to spend the night in Waikato Hospital with minor rib injuries, but he was discharged the next day. Marshall's car had a completely rearranged front suspension, and no hope of getting that fixed. So, a dramatic end to the hopes of one of New Zealand's former top drivers, now back out of retirement. Marshall's accident caused the special stage to be stopped for half an hour, and by the time the lower order cars go through, it's dusk. darkness falls on day one, Donald leads, with Brooks second, then Adams, and Millen fourth, separating them just 80 seconds. Tokoroa provides the first scheduled meal break of the rally. But between the Rallycross and Tokoroa, the lead has again changed hands, with Paul Adams displacing Jim Donald.
Russell had a wee problem that we stopped and helped him with, and we lost about a minute and a half there, but we're still in second, so I'm glad I stopped.
We had a small moment on the last stage which cost us about a minute and a half, something like that, 2 minutes. No damage, although we had to follow another car for a bit, and we got a lot of stones in the lights which broke the lights, but it's very early days yet, no real problems.
I understand Jim Donald pulled you out in the last one. Bit of team help there?
Yes, definitely. It was very good of him. We just had two back wheels over the edge of the road, and they wouldn't get any grip. We probably could have got out pushing ourselves, but then Jim came round, stopped, and three hands did, made a very quick job of it, no problems.
Quick comparison with rallying in England after your first session here?
Oh, very, very fast here, very fast.
The Massport support crew is reckoned to be world class. Brooks rated his car as good as any works escort. All told, 8 men support the 2 Massport entries through the rally. And in driver Jim Donald, there's an additional top rally mechanic. Donald was Ari Bartonen's service manager when the Finn came second in last year's International. And the rest of the service crew are totally experienced. Meanwhile, Rod Millen reflects on his problems.
Oh, we had a series of little wee problems, things like the coils have been breaking down, we've had to replace those, and then we got a blocked jet in the carburetor. We took us 2 stages to diagnose that. So it's just been lots of little wee problems. We've only had 1 stage, I think, out of 8 that we've actually had correct.
How's it going now?
I think we've got it right now.
So Millen's optimistic as the rally heads into the night and a series of special stages around Tokoroa. This is the testing time, when drivers who've already been going flat out for 12 hours have to steel their powers of concentration to cope with the darkness. Banks of quartz halogen lights can illuminate the roads for up to 1 kilometre, but to tired eyes, they can also play hallucinatory tricks. The most welcome sight in the night, the control point that marks the end of a special stage, and the beginning of a brief moment of relaxation for the driver while his navigator checks in. And then, an opportunity to drive at less than full speed before the start of the next stage. It's also a chance to get some essential servicing done, and for some, that's already become top priority. This, believe it or not, is Dermot Malley and the invincible Car 37, still going despite its 6 rollovers 10 hours earlier.
Oh, we came into a left-hand corner, and it just tightened up on itself. And we threw the car a bit more sideways, but we went over the bank.
A lot of people would have thought that a car in this shape that you wouldn't be around here right now.
Oh, the cars are built very solidly. Like, we keep on, they're very structurally sound, a lot sounder than a normal car. And they can take a lot more beating.
That has to be the understatement of the event. But Mallet's not the only one with mechanical problems this night. All around there are cars being inspected, refueled, cajoled, welded and cursed. This is Graham and Jan Lorimer's Mazda RX-3 receiving urgent attention. They get back on the road, but only 2 stages later go over a bank and out of the rally. Nearby, another car in trouble. This is Brian Green's Escort. Service crew are working flat out to repair a badly damaged stub axle and front suspension, but without success. Green from Palmerston North is out of the rally. Back at the top, the leaders are still only seconds apart, and as the first division draws to a close, it's still Auckland's Paul Adams in control. How's the car been holding up?
It's been going extremely well. We haven't had anything go wrong with it yet. We've only just had to change brakes every so often. Apart from that, it's just been tyres and brakes. Couldn't have asked for a better run.
Did you expect to be leading at this stage of the rally?
No, I didn't. No.
What about the threat from Russell Brooks? It seems to be closing up.
Oh, well, we're not really worrying about any of the rest. We're just going as hard as we can, and we'll end up where we end up. So, if we start worrying about the others, we'll go off the road. So we're not worrying about them at this stage.
Less than a minute behind Adams is Jim Donald, still pushing to recapture the lead he lost while helping Brooks out of the ditch. And Brooks is also beginning to fly. At the preceding stage, he put up the fastest time, despite driving for the last 4 kilometres with a flat tyre. Now he's only 40 seconds behind Donald. And as for Rod Millen, having cured the fuel problems, he's now having electrical troubles. Millen's got a new co-driver for this rally. Mark Howard flew in specially from America to navigate for the Auckland driver. Millen hopes Howard will in turn provide him with an introduction to the expanding American rally scene. But right now, Howard and Millen's normal co-driver, Mike Franchi, check the state of the leaders at the end of Division 1. And first is Adams, second Donald, third Brooks, and fourth Millen. Lake Rotorua, midday Sunday. Hundreds of enthusiasts have turned out at the Parc Ferme for the start of Division 2. Car 37, Dermot Malley's mobile wreck, is still in. And other cars are now displaying their battle scars. In the front, Millen, Brooks, Donald, and Collier. And that's a turn-up. Ranked 23rd, is now in 5th place. But the leader is still Paul Adams' vinyl top escort, and for him the honour of leading the cars into Division 2, a division dominated by forests. It's mid-afternoon, Kaingaroa State Forest, and this is the setting for a crunch special stage. After a day and a half of hard rallying, only 1 second separates the leaders, Adams and Donald. By the time they reach this isolated control point in the heart of the forest, the result of the duel will be known. Adams leads off. The stage is a fast one. Donald's been really moving all afternoon. Millen's still not happy with his motor. His times are beginning to show it.
It's slow.
Then the surprise package, Howard Collier. Collier's been motoring steadily throughout the rally, posting consistently good times and making a mockery of his 23rd starting position. Russell Brooks starts this stage late. He's used up some of his time allowance, having his clutch replaced. Adams gets a clear view. As leader, he's unaffected by the dusty conditions. Donald's not so fortunate, but he doesn't slow up. Millen's still trying to get maximum effort from a motor that's usually capable of producing 260 brake horsepower. And Russell Brooks, back down the field, has begun to put the hammer down. He's in 3rd place and right in touch with the leaders. At the finish, the question is, will Adams have preserved his 1-minute starting gap between him and Donald? But in fact, it's Donald who's out. No doubt about it now, Jim Donald is definitely in the lead. Still no sign of Adams. This is Collier. Now, where's Millen? And that's another leader gone missing. Collier surprised everyone, including himself.
Well, unfortunately, we didn't think we'd be there either because we had a very bad motor to start with and we put all the additives and stuff in it and seems to be holding on.
Do you think you'll be able to last right through?
It's going good at the moment, hope it lasts.
So Collier's in 3rd spot, but it's Brooks who clocks the fastest time on the stage, just 1/100th of a second faster than Donald. But now, Massport are 1st and 2nd. Then the luckless Millen arrives. Somewhere in the forest, he'd taken a wrong turning, costing him another 5 minutes and virtually ending any hopes he had of winning the Motoguard. And he's hot about it.
arrowing so poor in this rally that, you know, we just can't find our way. We're used to a higher standard of arrowing, I think.
And then Adams arrives with his tale of woe.
Yeah, we had this problem with the steering wheels going in and out, through like that. And I was probably concentrating, trying to find out what was wrong, and the corner caught me out, and we just into the scrub.
Yeah. How long do you think you spent in there?
Probably 4 or 5 minutes, unfortunately. John actually had to stop and give us a hand out.
Adams' misfortune means the rally is now totally dominated by Massport. Before the night run, a chance for the Massport service crew to check their 2 cars. This wheel breaks at a remote township north of Taupo.
Here for Kayatu. Can't you say it? Don't ask me to spell it.
Well, brightened the place up anyway.
The arrival of the rally has increased the population of this country community tenfold, for a few hours anyway. As the service crews ready the cars for 12 hours of night driving from Taupo to Palmerston North, others make the most of the occasion. Not everyone was having a picnic. Tony Street had just rolled his escort, right in front of a home movie maker.
Yeah, we come round a big left-hand sweeper, and there was a small log sticking out in the road, and I took it wide to miss the log, and then tried to get the car back online again and just clipped the bank, and at the speed we were doing, it just pulled us into the bank and over we went.
Street still manages to finish the rally. The leading cars, meanwhile, were moving on into the night, led by Jim Donald. Second at the start, but really in third place, Howard Collier. Brooks in second place, but still running down the field. Millen is pushing himself back up the field after his afternoon setback. But the only battle now is between the 2 Massports, local man Donald and Englishman Brooks. He's getting faster at every stage. Collier's still there, but later he hits the bank and goes out of the Motoguard, while Millen just can't get his car going 100%. By the end of stage 20, the 2 Massport escorts are running neck and neck, Jim Donald ahead with the smallest of margins. While Russell Brooks edges ever closer. When the British driver does take the lead, it's something of an anticlimax. In the middle of the night, Jim Donald gets a puncture. It slows him down by 2 minutes on special stage 21, and Brooks sweeps through into the lead for the first time.
Stick it back into the service.
For Donald, the remnants of an inner tube and second place. Dawn at Palmerston North. Jim Donald leads the Massport team into Parc Ferme, but it's still Brooks who's actually the rally leader. The English champion now has a lead of 2.5 minutes over Donald, with Millen and Adams a further 20 minutes behind. Of the 75 cars that originally set out from Auckland, only 46 are still going. The cars spend the day in Parc Ferme before restarting in correct running order at the Manfield race circuit. Brooks. Donald. Millen. And Adams. They're the top 4. Division 3 started late on Monday afternoon, and before long it's dusk and the drivers are again battling with night conditions. last 11 stages take the cars across the North Island before heading south through small towns like Dannevirke. Here it's an opportunity to refuel and service, viewed by hundreds of curious townsfolk. Incredibly, Dermot Malley and car 37 are still going strong. They had to work hard on the car at Palmerston North, but they've been allowed to stay in the rally. Co-driver Jim Kidd nurses the finger he broke in the rollover 60 hours earlier. Rally leader Russell Brooks is beginning to stretch his lead, but now he's had some problems.
Well, I picked up a stomach bug or something like that last night, and I've been feeling pretty rough today. I was sick halfway through the last stage, which doesn't help matters, but it would seem that we were about 4 minutes quicker than Rod Millen and about 4 minutes quicker than Jim. Jim went off for about a minute or 2 minutes or something like that.
So you're safely ensconced at the front now. There's trouble here?
No, it's the starter motor's packed up, and they're changing that because obviously if you did store it on a stage you could lose a lot of time without one. I wouldn't say safely ensconced, but certainly 7 minutes is better than 3.
Brooks's stomach upset certainly doesn't slow him down as he leads the field into the longest night of the rally. Approaches, Brooks is still firmly in control of the rally, his lead now an impressive 8 minutes. And at least one of his challengers, Rod Millen, is well out of the reckoning. Millen pushed it too hard in an attempt to close the gap with the leaders and put his car right over a bank and almost right out of the rally.
We were very fortunate where we did go off. We actually thought we'd be well out of the rally because we only had an hour to get it back on the road. And we figured we were too trained to get it back out. But I ran down the road and got about 30 guys, and we tied a big rope around the front of it and hauled it back on the road.
How much spare time do you have now?
Well, we've only got an extra 2 minutes, and if we arrive late at any control, more than 2 minutes now, we're out of the event.
Millen does survive to the end, but well down in the finishing order. Now, barring mishaps, Massport looks secure. For the service crew, a last check over at Masterton before the final stages into Wellington. It looks as though Brooks and Donald will lead the cars home.
Put a new one on.
No, the way the car's running at the moment, it shouldn't be a problem. Everything's working good, as long as I don't get too tired and go to sleep somewhere along the line.
Dawn in the Wigram wrapper as the remaining cars line up to tackle the penultimate stage of the rally, but not before some last-minute drama.
How heavy is it?
This is the lead car. Its purpose to clear the road before the stage is run, but on this bend it met its match. The stage won't be started until the lead car emerges at the finish, so spectators lend a hand to get it back on the road.
Give it one more, go on, now.
Then Russell Brooks leads the rally through. Donald is still there trying, but he's too far back. Even in the early hours of the morning, spectators dot the hillside. The Motoguard's attracted a lot of interest wherever it's gone. Tony Street's still going despite his role the day before. And And once again, Dermot Malley's incredibly redesigned Escort appears. Nothing will stop them now from finishing the rally. By now, 40 cars are left in the Motoguard. This is Tony Teasdale. He's been near the top throughout the event. Paul Adams is still in the running. His Escort gets some last-minute attention before heading for Wellington and the final stage, Paikokoriki Hill. Right now, though, the stage has become a formality, a virtual victory lap for Russell Brooks, ahead now by a convincing margin.
Well, we knew the conditions were going to be very different, and what we intended to do was to take it relatively easy, stay in touch with whoever was leading. If we found ourselves in a leading position, obviously that would be all well and good. And what we wanted to do was try and pull out a lead in the second division, which Jim helped us to a certain extent by getting a puncture. But of course we finished the second division with a 3-minute lead, and since then it's gone up to about 11 minutes. Team are doing an excellent job preparing it. It's a really super car. I personally couldn't have asked for anything more, really. We had a bit of clutch trouble, but then, you know, you're pushing the cars to the limit, you're pounding them over rocks, driving them as hard as possible. You always expect some trouble. All I can say about the car is that I was there on the winning ramp, so it's done a very, very good job.
Rounding off the 1-2 after slipping back earlier, he's worked his way up, but he's still 45 minutes behind Brooks. Teammate John Wolfe, fourth in the other vinyl top Escort, a great team effort. Fifth, Tony Teasdale of Tokoroa, he never lost touch with the leaders. And sixth, David Parks, a great effort in a car that produces only half the power of the other leading cars. But there's only one winner, and to the victor the spoils. Brooks drove the race exactly as he predicted, and for him the champagne looked almost a certainty from the very beginning. The experience he's gained of New Zealand conditions will work in his favour next year if he returns for the 79 Motoguard, hopefully then restored to a bona fide World Championship event.
Ooh, right, terrible. Right,
Doug Allen's car outstandingly quick out of the corners.
See the sideways drift right through the end of the hairpin.
And these two have cleared away from the field. They've got a tremendous lead, about 500 metres over the third place getter. And this, incredibly, is Rod Millen. In car number 16, the Maxie's Pizza Mazda from Auckland. A car that he's virtually just borrowed for the weekend. And he's two-wheeling it round the long curves on this Wigram circuit. And of course, rally people will know that this is Rod Millen, the New Zealand rally champion, a man whose name is well associated with the phenomenal Mazda rotary-powered cars.
And this car, although only borrowed for the weekend, he's certainly making it work. He's lifting the wheel in all the corners, driving in beautiful style, gets it sideways along the long sweepers. It's Rod Millen, using all his rally driving experience. This car incredibly fast. It's an RX-3 saloon. Fairly late Model 1, 2.2 litre. Very, very fast indeed.
And Rod Millen, using a number of his rally techniques. Little dab on the brakes as he enters a corner sideways. The only hope he's got of keeping up or keeping anywhere near these flying Camaros is to fairly hurl this little car through the corners.
Of course, it's not hard to see why he's the leader in the 0 to 3,000 section of this race. Two sections, 0 to 3,000 and 3 to 6,000. The two Camaros in the top section are way out in front, but Rod Millen certainly leading this slower section. The less horsepower, right sideways through that bend. Front left-hand wheel, the inside one, coming right off the ground. getting the back end sideways to get a better line through corners. Rod Millen, a brilliant driver.
This is certainly the most phenomenal performance we've ever seen at Wigram from a Mazda Rotary. The Mazda people in New Zealand who have supported Rod Millen so well in the rally series must be delighted with this performance. He's in front of a lot of bigger cars, including this one, car number 27. That's Ken Sager's Ford Capri, a 3-litre car. And Ken Sager not able to match the tremendous ability of the Millen Mazda. Caught rather of Brian Hesse, and he's having a very good scrap indeed with car number 36, the Fiat 124 Coupe of Alan Farr. And this Fiat Coupe also bearing battle scars on its left front guard. Brian Hesse hounding Farr down into the loop area.
Two Fiat 124 Coupes, the sports version of a 125, 1600cc double overhead cam motor, two of them in the race, one considerably faster than the other.
And Brian Hesse doing a bit of demon slipstreaming now on Alan Farr's car. Farr, in theory, should be a little bit quicker down the back straight, but there's quite a strong easterly wind that these cars have to run into. And now Farr stretching out. Hesse's lost any advantage he might have had from a tow in the slipstream of Farr's car. And now holding a steady distance behind him. We'll see what they do under braking as they come down into the hairpin.
The braking will also be interesting because the Fiat 124 has four-wheel discs. The Escort, not quite as good at the braking department.
Re-wheeling it round the hairpin. The leaders are now into their last lap, while this great scrap going on further down the field between Farr and Hesse.
Coming back into the loop, still the leader, number 71, Doug Allen. This Z28 Camaro. Incredible power and great speed right out of corners. Keeping a very, very steady line for a car as difficult as this to handle. It's a wide open circuit. Foot to the floorboards. And nice slides out of corners. Huge long legs in the back of this straight. That's 160 mile an hour there.
And now coming up through the field, we've got the Camaro number 24 of Rob Farrer, and he's now having a tremendous scrap with Rod Millen. This will certainly be worth watching. Farrer's come up through the field. He's now in third place. He's just pipped Millen for third place, but one would certainly expect this. I mean, we've got a 5.7-litre Camaro against a 2.2-litre Mazda. But Millen's not giving it away. But he'll be hard-pressed to hold Farrer down the long back straight.
It's an incredible performance from Rod Millen, a car with an engine capacity one-third the size of that Camaro. Lifting the inside wheel again. This Mazda really handles superbly.
There's our second place getter, Enki Tulloch. Received the checkered flag. He's comfortably away, but there's a great battle still going on for third place. Tulloch running slowly down now.
Still Doug Allen from Inky Tulloch, the two that sent off right at the start of the race and drew out a lead.
On the grid, 19 Rod Millen, 62 Max Irwin, 41 John Wolfe, 68 Brian Watkin, 13 Chess Trail, 96 Dick Moore, and 77 David Wilkinson. And from the jump with the jump, it was Rod Millen leaving the bunch to sort themselves out while he enjoyed the luxury of the open track up front. Into the water for the first time, no problems for Miller. And no problems for Max Irwin, driving 62 in second place, with Brian Watkins in 68 and John Wolfe in 41 in third and fourth positions. But Millen was still holding first place and improving all the time. Lap 3 and Millen, with superior driving, had cleared right out from the field. His handling of the tight circuit leaving nothing to be desired, and short of a breakdown, looking all the way a winner. Lap 5, and Millen with the rest of the field well strung out behind him and still driving superbly, showing the class that makes him one of the country's top drivers. At this stage, the minor places had changed. Max Irwin was still in second place, but John Wolfe had moved up one place to be in third position. Millen still maintaining his big lead. Into the left-hander, showing great control as he heads towards the water for the second to last time. Max Irwin driving 62, still holding second place. And John Wolfe in third place. Last lap, and just a formality for Rod Millen, leading by miles. Of semi-final 1, Rod Millen in 19, Max Irwin in 62, and John Wolfe in 41.
He, of course, is driving the engine. Here he comes, back up the hill, second place.
On the grid in semi-final 2, 1 Paul Adams, 14 Brian Ortis, 70 Mark Parsons, 66 John Murphy, 44 Stuart Hanna, 28 Graham Lorimer, and 30 Ken Fensom. It was Adams in 1 and Ortis in 14 that got the jump on the rest of the field into that all-important first right-hander. And these two look to be the ones to watch in this race.
And then we come back to the remainder of the field, but Adams leading at the moment.
Adams first into the water, followed by Ortis. Hanna in 44 was third, and Mark Parsons in 74, with Murphy in 66 close behind.
He campaigned in the New Zealand Rally.
Lap 3 and positions unchanged. At this stage, Adams still in front, but Ortis in striking distance. Hanna was still in third place, but was being threatened by Mark Parsons in his RX-3 Mazda number 70. And Adams still in front, but not keeping it all together on the right-hander. However, he had plenty in hand to hold his position, and it was going to take some hard driving from the minor places to get anywhere near him. 7, and Adams handling the right-hander a lot better this time and looking as though he's going to be the threat to Millen in the final. Brian Ordus in 14, still holding second place, but making no impression. Parsons in 70 was now third, followed by John Murphy in 66, and Stuart Hanna in 44 had dropped back to fifth. Last lap, and Adams having it all his own way. Ordus was safe in second place, and the battle was going to be for third place between Parsons, Murphy and Hanna. And that's the way semi-final 2 finished. First won Paul Adams. Second was Brian Ordus in 14. And third, Mark Parsons in 70. Position in the final went to Rod Millen, 13 seconds better than Paul Adams during the heat, and he was going to be the one to watch. It was disaster for Paul Adams on the right-hander. In the scramble, he was cut right out of the running and didn't finish. So it was left to Brian Ordus in 14 to put pressure on Millen if he could, and that was going to be a tall order with the form that Millen was showing. At the end of lap 1, the order was Millen in 19, Ordus in 14, and Miller in 4. Into lap 3, and Millen improving his lead all the time, and short of a miracle, no one was going to head him. So Ordus and Miller had to provide what thrills they could for the minor positions. And Millen driving a great race, showing the control that's got him right to the top in rally driving and rallycross events. The battle for minor places still goes on. Ordus and Miller through the water, and the rest of the bunch behind with Stewart and 12 in 4th place. The 7th lap, one of Millen's fastest. A great exhibition of power driving from this man, drifting through all corners at speed seconds faster than his competitors, giving them no chance at all. The same story. Millen in front, the rest far behind. At this stage, Ordus in 14 was still in second place and having to be content with that. Into lap 11 and no change. Millen first, Ordus second, and Miller third. Now bets were being made as to whether Millen was going to lap the back markers. But Millen wasn't going to fall for that one. Trying to get through that bunch would have spelt disaster, and he was content to hold back with his big lead. John Wolfe in 41 provided the thrills by losing it and letting Atkinson through, but these two had no hope anyway. Last lap and a formality for Rod Millen. At no stage did he look like being headed. His skill was such that his victory was rather hollow, and after the first lap, his name was put into first place by spectators. It then became a matter of who would fill the minor places.